Hi, I'm Jay Norix, the developer of Parts and Memory Therapy, and today we're going to work on demonstrating how Parts and Memory Therapy will work in helping to give permanent relief to PMS. This is the beginning stage, and for this purpose, a friend of mine has volunteered. Her name is Kim. You'll meet her in just a moment. She's volunteered to work on her own PMS as we develop the protocol that we'll be using more widely. So PMS, of course, is premenstrual syndrome. There's a more intense version or variety of PMS. It's called PMDD, stands for premenstrual dysphoric disorder. And Kim probably meets criteria for that as well. But today we're just going to call what we're dealing with PMS, to include both PMS and PMDD. PMDD is the diagnosis that's now in the American Psychiatric Association's latest version of their diagnostic manual. 2 days ago, Kim came in and we worked on locating the angry part of her that comes out and raises heck during her premenstrual phase. 2 days ago, she was in day 6, and so she was in a good place. Day 6, by the way, what I mean by that is if the first day of a woman's period is day 1, then each day is consecutively named day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, and so forth. So 2 days ago she was in day 6. Today is day 8, and so she's in a really good place. No emotional or cognitive issues, just happy to be alive. And this is Kim.
Hello.
Kim, are you nervous?
I'm a little bit nervous.
All right. So let's use first a step back technique to help you get calm.
Okay.
Where do you feel that nervousness?
In my back.
Okay. Focus on that feeling.
Okay.
And then pretend you're talking to a person and speak to that back. And I'd like you to do it out loud for our readers to know that you're actually doing it. I said readers, for our viewers to know.
Okay.
Just speak to the back where you feel that nervousness and say, please take a step back. Please take a step back. Don't go away, just step back.
Please take a step back. Please take a step back. Don't go away, just take a step back.
And did that produce a change?
Yes.
Is there still some nervousness there?
No.
All right. Great. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Like, who were you talking to? I don't know, but some part of you was responding.
Yeah. It wasn't that much, so I feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So looking back on my notes from our session 2 days ago, we located an image, or you located an image that represented the angry feeling that came out when you gave problems to your partner with angry remarks and angry interactions.
Yes.
And here's how you described her, meaning the image that you had in your mind of your angry part. You said you saw her as yourself in gym clothes with a black sports bra and black leggings,
Mm-hmm.
and that she, the angry part, had abs. She had a six-pack, so she was a very muscular you.
Yes, she was very strong.
Okay, so what we're going to do today is see if we can find her again. And we're going to have a conversation with her and begin the therapy. So this is part of the protocol. The first thing we have to do is to locate the problem part. There are other parts that are problematic during PMS, but
Mm-hmm.
angry parts are usually the most difficult. The ones that cause the greatest difficulty for you as you go through that phase. And so we found her. And can you find her now?
Yeah, I'm sure I can.
Please do. Let me know when you have located her.
Okay.
Great. So say hello to her and ask her how she's doing today.
How are you today? She said she's fine.
She's fine, all right.
Mhm.
Isn't that interesting? So you're talking to a part of yourself,
Mhm.
and she says she's all right.
Yeah.
Ask her if she remembers our conversation or initial conversation 2 days ago.
Do you remember your conversation with Dr. J? And she says, yeah.
Okay. And the way we ended that meeting, it was just before I would have asked, what is your very earliest disturbing memory of any kind? So I'm going to ask that now. But for our viewers, I want to make sure that it's clear when we're doing this.
Mhm.
So we're looking for the part or subpersonality that carries your anger, and especially the anger that comes out during the PMS phase of your cycle. All right, so now we found her. And the easiest time to find PMS parts is when you're actually experiencing PMS. But
Right.
the best time to heal them is when you're in a phase of calm. There's a lot of resistance when we work with them when you're in your PMS.
Right.
So this is great, this is calm. And the way we work with them first is not to ask them to let go of their anger directly. We want to ask them what is their very earliest disturbing memory. That's where we start. The person memory therapy framework directs us to work on memories. So would you ask her, please, what is her very earliest disturbing memory of any kind?
Hers would have to be,
Let her tell you, please.
she has so many.
All right, ask her to pick a representative early memory. It doesn't really have to be the earliest, it's
Mhm.
good if it is, but close will work too.
Okay. So she tells me one of her earliest disturbing memories was sitting in a room with her family, her father's family, and they are in deep discussion and disagreement about selling my grandparents' house.
Okay? So it's family discussion about selling your grandparents' house, and how old do you think you were then?
Maybe 10?
Okay? And would you tell me if you can see yourself as a 10-year-old in that memory of that discussion?
Yes.
All right, that's great. Would you ask permission, please, of the adult angry part of you for us to work directly with the 10-year-old who is stuck in that memory?
Do I have permission to work with the 10-year-old? She doesn't care.
She doesn't care. Great. But if she didn't give us permission, we wouldn't be able to do it. That's when we get the permission.
Okay.
So now say hello to the 10-year-old and tell her who you are. Or actually, for our viewers, why don't you ask her first if she knows who you are?
Do you know who I am? And she says no.
Okay, she doesn't know. Ask her to take a guess.
Okay. Guess.
She took a guess.
Yeah, she says okay. I'm me in the future.
Me in the future.
Yeah.
Perfect answer. Tell her she's right on.
Right on. Okay.
And tell her you have just now remembered her in this discussion about what to do with Grandma's house. And what is she feeling?
She's feeling resentment because reminds her of how they sold her parents' house. What they decided to do with her parents' house.
Mm-hmm. Was that a bad thing?
It was a bad thing. So after her parents got divorced, her dad went to prison, and her mom was incapable of making decisions at the time. And so my aunt was responsible for the house now. And she made a decision on their house, to sell their house or to take over their house.
Mm-hmm.
She just was the decision maker on what to do with that house. And again, now she's the decision maker on what to do with her grandparents' house.
Oh, I see. Okay. And so the 10-year-old Kim is saying to you, she's resentful, and I'm wondering though if just intuitively I have the sense that maybe she's anxious and worried.
She is. She is extremely anxious and worried. She's not mad at her family, but it's just another similar situation about what happened to her house.
Okay. And so we need a rating from her regarding how disturbing this memory is to her. Well, for her it's not a memory, she's in it.
Mm-hmm.
How disturbing is this scene of the family discussion to her? How disturbing is it on a 0 to 10 scale? 0 means it doesn't disturb her at all, she's neutral. And 10 is the most that something could disturb anyone. Where does this experience in which we found her, where does that rate on a 0 to 10 scale?
Probably between a 7 and 8, like 7.5.
Okay, call it a 7.5, all right. And would she like to let go of that feeling of distress, anxiety, and resentment?
Yes.
All right, then let's do it. And so there's an unending number of different ways that she can let go of that. She could flush it down the toilet, for example. That is, she could flush down the distress down the toilet. Or she could stand in the rain and let the rain wash it away. Or she could burn it up in fire. She could make a target out of it and shoot it up with a shotgun or a gun. She could pour acid on it in an acid vat. So we're limited by the in what we use to symbolically release the negative emotion only by your imagination. What would you like to use?
I like to be relevant to that part of me, like what that 10-year-old would do, and the easiest thing would be flush it down the toilet.
Flush it down the toilet, okay.
Okay.
Then, if you need to, take her by the hand, or magically create a toilet right there in front of her, and let her flush down the distress down the toilet.
She's gonna throw it up.
She's going to throw it up into the toilet. That's fine. Go for it.
Okay. So, I'm making up this toilet like you suggested and putting it right in front of her. And she's just tense, so she's confused. But she says fine.
So let me help her a little bit.
Okay.
Ask her, since you've told me that she's going to throw it up into the toilet, then ask her to focus on where she feels it. And draw that feeling of anxiety and resentment right into her stomach, wherever it is. And then out of her stomach, she can just vomit it into the toilet bowl and then flush it.
She kind of missed the toilet.
She missed it. Interesting. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
That was extremely effective.
But is it out of her yet? Is her?
Yeah.
Doesn't bother her anymore.
Yeah, she listened to what we did
Uh-huh.
and she just vomited and she
Okay.
missed toilet.
But she missed the toilet.
Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting. I don't think that's ever happened to me before.
She wanted to get rid of it.
Yeah, but she got rid of it.
Yeah.
So ask her to assess herself. We'll come back to the toilet in just a minute to see if we need to clean it up.
Mhm.
But for her and her feelings about this experience that she's having, it was a level 7 or 8 on a 0 to 10 scale. Ask her now, where is it on a 0 to 10 scale? How much does it bother her, this situation?
She's fine now. She's like at a 0.
At a 0. Excellent. And what do you want to do with that messy toilet area?
I'm gonna have to clean it up.
Okay, so that's the end of our video. And I have just a few notes in closing. The first has to do with what you now know. We lost camera 2 during the videotaping, and we're doing it live, and so there's no do-over. And so what we did for the final production is to insert other video of Kim as we continued running the audio live. The second note has to do with the intervention we did with the 10-year-old Kim. If you remember, working with my adult Kim here in the office, she had agreed with the 10-year-old Kim that the 10-year-old Kim would vomit up her distress for the way that her family was handling the sale of Kim's parents' home. But rather than vomit her distress into the toilet, the 10-year-old part vomited it onto the floor. A surprise to Kim and a surprise to me. Fascinating. But what it demonstrates is that the parts that we work with are not our puppets, not puppets in our play. In short, they have volition. The third note I want to make is really just about how what we did today fits with the 4-step protocol of parts of memory therapy. Step 1 is the location and definition of the problem. In this case, the problem was and is PMS anger. Step 2 is to locate the memories that are the foundation for the problem, in this case, problem of anger. We located those memories by asking the angry part to tell us what is her very earliest disturbing memory. And step 4 is to neutralize the problem, which is what we did through the intervention of asking the little girl, the 10-year-old, to vomit up her distress over how the family handled the sale of her parents' home. The final point to be made is that in doing the neutralizing of the memories, we accomplish what neuroscientists call memory reconsolidation, so that the emotional memories connected with the problem are now neutral. In our next meeting with Kim, we will go back to angry Kim and ask her what is her next disturbing memory, and we will repeat the protocol then. So if you liked our video, please click like, and maybe click also subscribe to our channel so that you can see what comes up next. Have a good day.